Hello, friends, and welcome to Adventures in Summer Reading. I'm Gorp. Oh, yeah, and this is my friend Stick. That's right, we have a campfire going. And s'mores. Oh, one of my library friends helped me make this fire. Did you know one of my favorite things to do in summer is to sit next to a fire and tell stories? Oh, yes, that's right, Stick. Sit next to a fire, tell stories, and eat s'mores. Would you like to hear a story, Stick? Okay, are you ready? Here it goes. It was a dark and stormy night, and the captain said to his mate, "Mate, tell me a story." And the story went like this. It was a dark and stormy night, and the captain said to his mate, "Mate, tell me a story." And the story went like this. It was a dark and stormy... Oh, Stick, where are you going? Oh, well, he left his marshmallow. Friends, today we have a very special storyteller here who's going to share stories and sing songs. Oh, we're going to have so much fun. I'd like to present Thomas Freese. Stick, the story gets better. Where are you? Don't you want to know what happens? Stick!
Hi, I'm Storyteller Thomas Freese. Happy summer. I'm happy to be here at the library, and we're making some wonderful videos of entertainers. I've written 11 books. I love telling stories. I've got all kinds of crazy stories. Today, I'm telling silly stories and singing a song, and I'd like to start with a song first. It's called What You Gonna Do with the Silly Kitty. Now, this song is called a parody, so some grown-ups might know the tune, but I changed the words, and it introduces a story I'm going to tell too. So it's about a cat, and some of y'all might have pets. You might prefer dogs, you might prefer cats, or maybe have a horse, or something really wild like a Komodo dragon, or who knows what kind of pets you have. Or maybe you're on a farm, you got your baby goats and your chickens. So we love our pets, but sometimes they can be a little bit of a problem. So even if you get a cat and then it's nice and maybe you're feeding it and maybe you can do the litter box and everything, but what if it just kind of keeps waking you up early in the morning? What you going to do with the silly kitty? It jumps on your bed at 5 in the morning. Meow, I'm hungry. Meow, feed me. So this is a song that's about that. I'll teach you the chorus. It's real easy. We sing 3 times. What you gonna do with the silly kitty? What you gonna do with the silly kitty now? What you gonna do with the silly kitty early in the morning? Well, what you gonna do? When I ask kids when I do this story, and maybe you need an idea. So let's say maybe if you just feed it a little bit, it'll leave you alone. You can go back to sleep. So give her some milk, she'll be happy. Give her some milk, she'll be happy now. Give her some milk, she'll be happy now. Early in the morning. And then we all sing 1, 2, 3. What you gonna do with the silly kitty? What you gonna do with the silly kitty now? What you gonna do, silly kitty, early in the morning? Now, what you gonna do? Now, you gotta be nice. Can't do anything mean, but maybe you have a ball hanging around or some toy. Just throw it out of your bedroom so you can go back to sleep. So, send a ball tumbling down the stairs. Send a ball tumbling down the stairs. Send a ball tumbling down the stairs now. Early in the morning. Help me with the chorus. Ready? 1, 2, 3. What you gonna do with the silly kitty? What you gonna do with the silly kitty? What you gonna do with the silly kitty now? Early in the morning. So we gave her some food and play with it a little bit there, but maybe if it's an outside cat, if that's okay, just put her outside. You can go back to sleep. So put her outside, let it chase little lizards. Put her outside, let it chase little lizards. Put her outside, let it chase little lizards. Early in the morning. Help me last time for the chorus. Ready? 1, 2, 3. What you gonna do with the silly kitty? What you gonna do with the silly kitty now? What you gonna do with the silly kitty? Early in the morning. Now, I don't know how you got your critters. You might have a story about if you found your dog or however you got your pet. I have a story about how we got our family cat. I'd like to tell you that story. And I call this story Cat. It sounds a lot like Amtrak, which is the name of a train service. And so when I was young, but I wasn't quite old enough to drive, I visited my friend Larry. I went from St. Louis up to Chicago, a 6-hour train ride. And oh, I just love traveling on a train. I don't know if you've ever been on a train, but it's a lot of fun. And you can just sit back and enjoy the ride, look out the window, and then maybe there's the sound of that train going. You can make the train sound if you want. Of course, it might not be a steam engine anymore, but I love riding trains. So I went up to visit my friend Larry, and it turned out his mama cat had baby cats, had kittens. Oh, you know how it is? If you see a puppy, you just want to love on it, and you want to pet it in that soft fur, or a kitty cat with those little tiny meows. Oh, they're just so cute. You just want to eat them up. And I saw a cat there that I wanted so bad, but I said to my friend Larry, I'd love to take one of your cats, but I can't because I'm traveling on the train. And my friend Larry said, no problem. Because when I was a kid, the other boys, they always had great ideas. Yeah, ideas that would get you into trouble. So my friend Larry, he said, it's very easy. You have a suitcase, right? And I said, yeah. And you have a book bag. Now, back in my day, we didn't have backpacks. We had book bags, kind of like a bowling ball bag with a zipper on top and 2 arched handles. He says, it's very simple. Take the books out of your book bag, put them in the suitcase, and then you can put the cat in the bag. Just sneak it on the train. Nobody will know. It's a great idea, right? Great ideas. Well, I was so desperate for a critter. I wanted a pet so bad to take home to my brothers and sisters, and my mom and dad said we couldn't have a pet, but I was determined. And sometimes children, they take matters into their own hands, and maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't. But the next day I came to get a cat. I picked out an all-black cat. It was so pretty. It was still sleeping. I'd cleared out my book bag, put a little towel in there just in case, and I set that beautiful black soft kitten down in the book bag. I took the zipper, didn't close it all the way, left a little space for air, and then I went down to the train station carrying my suitcase and the book bag with a cat inside. But I wasn't telling anyone that I had a cat. I took the commuter train, 45 minutes downtown Chicago, walked 2 blocks to the Amtrak station, showed them my ticket, stowed my luggage, sat down with that book bag on my lap, not telling anyone. There was a passenger, a lady to my right, 2 ladies across from me, and I would smile and chat with them, but nobody know that inside that bag I had a kitty cat, and it was asleep and everything was fine, but I still had 6 hours to go to get back from Chicago to St. Louis. So everything was just fine at first. People were looking out the window. They were chatting, nice folks. And then somebody very important would come walking down the aisles. I definitely didn't tell him that I had a kitty cat in the bag, and that was the conductor. He was wearing a uniform. He was checking, making sure everything was okay. Tickets, let me see your tickets. And once in a while, he would shout out the name, would stop at different towns in southern Illinois. Some people would take a nap, didn't want them to miss their stop, so he'd shout out, Joliet! Joliet, and on down the line we went. Everything was fine. We've been gone for 1 hour. Now, y'all kids are on summer break, so I don't know, maybe you forget the math here a little bit, but 6 minus 1 is we had 5 hours left. Then we've been gone for 2 hours, so you can do the math on that. 6 minus 2 is we had 4 hours left. They were halfway. 3 hours gone and 3 hours still to go. Everything was just fine. Then we've gone for 4 hours, 5 hours, and then finally we're almost to Union Station. I could see the Golden Arch there. It was so wonderful to almost be here. And then I heard a sound. Meow. The ladies gave me a funny look. I went, They were looking at me, wondering what's up, and then I heard the sound again. Now, that cat had been patient, but it's been inside that bag for 7 hours, and it wanted out. The ladies looked at me again. I went, I think I need a drink of water. And then finally it made a really loud meow. You can do that with me if you want. Meow! And then it pushed its head out through the open zipper, looked around. This is not my home. I'm not with my brothers and sisters. This looks like a fun place to explore. And sure enough, pretty soon the cat was out of the bag. And then the conductor came walking along, saw the cat, and I was afraid he was going to grab it and throw it off the train. But he gave me a break. I'm sure no one has ever before or since tried to take an animal on an Amtrak train. I'm sure that's never happened. But he said, just keep it out of sight. And that's a true story, how my family got our cat. What you gonna do with the silly kitty? What you gonna do with the silly kitty? What you gonna do with the silly kitty? Early in the morning. My next story is about the perfect pet. There was a man that wanted a pet. He went to the pet store. He couldn't decide exactly what pet to get. So he went up to the guy at the counter and said, can you help me find a pet? Well, tell me a little bit about yourself. Well, I work all day. I'm a bachelor, live alone. My place is a mess. I don't even know if I could have a cat, if it would even, be okay if I'd be gone on my trips. Well, he said, you know what? I got the perfect pet for you. And he took out a little matchbook size box, and he says, it's right in here. And the guy said, in there? Yeah. He opened the little matchbox, and inside was a wiggly, iggly insect with 100 legs. 100 is a lot. We don't have to count by ones, but really quickly by fives. You can just see what 100 is, right? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. That's a lot of legs. But what makes it special? Why is it the perfect pet? You just take it home, take it out of the box, say, Centipede, clean my house, do my laundry, whatever. He'll do it for you. How much? 20 bucks. I'll take it. Took it home, took it outside the box, said, Centipede, vacuum my floor. Centipede jumped up, went over to the closet, got the vacuum. It was amazing. He did the dishes. He had him do the laundry. Oh, he separated the lights and the darks. He did a great job. But then it was Friday night. The guy went to bed. Next morning, Saturday morning, he was wondering, what the Centipede was going to fix him for breakfast. Oh boy, it was going to be good. But wait, he'll send him down to the corner store a couple blocks away there, gave him some money and said, go out and get the Saturday morning paper so I can read the paper while you're fixing a nice breakfast. So the Centipede went out. The guy was sitting there on the sofa, waiting 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. He ought to be back by now. 30, 40 minutes. Wasn't back. Something's going on. Maybe got run over by a car. So he ran out, and there at the front door, the Centipede was still there. He said, what are you doing? I sent you 40 minutes ago to go get the morning paper. And the Centipede said, I'm putting on my shoes. How many shoes? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. That's a lot of shoes. So we've got great stories, funny stories. I hope you share your family stories with everyone. You're hanging out with your friends, and maybe you have a silly story, something with your animal, something maybe with your brother and sister. I've got a small family. I grew up in a small family of 8, and we got a lot of silly stories.
Oh, what you gonna do with the silly stick? What you gonna do with the silly stick? What you gonna do with the silly stick early in the morning? Did you hear that? I changed the words to stick because that's my pet. Oh, and Thomas is right. Having pets is a lot of work. Stick is so high maintenance. I have to walk him, play fetch, feed him, give him water. I can barely keep up, but it's all worth it because I love him. He's my best friend. Well, I got my marshmallows going. I think it's about time to hear some more stories, Thomas. You get it? S'mores?
I love stories, and I love storytelling. In fact, I've collected hundreds of stories, and I've written 11 books, and my books are in the library system here. You can look me up, Thomas Freese, and I love stories. Some are a little scary, some are silly. Today I'm telling silly stories, and I'd like to tell you a story called Caroline and the Sandbox. Now, when I was a kid, I loved our sandbox. We lived in St. Louis. We had a big old yard, and I would go out to the sandbox and spend hours and hours. My mama didn't have to worry about me. She'd look out the kitchen window, and there I was with the sandbox. I had my little army tanks and my army men and everything. But what I'd do first was I'd haul the hose, the water hose, all the way out there, and I'd just fill it up full of water. Take the hose back, turn it off, and then I'd let the water settle down. And think about like when you're on the beach and how you mold, you put wet sand into buckets and you make a castle and thing, and that's what I would do. I would wet sculpt the sand and make forts and things. I had so much fun. I love sand. And then after it dried a little bit, I'd dig out tunnels, and then I'd get out my army men and everything. And I don't know if kids play with sandboxes anymore these days, but when I was a kid, we loved it. And there's all kinds of sands all around the world. You may not know that, or maybe you know that. And there's black sand from the volcanic, rock, and green sand from New Zealand, and that pretty white powder sand from Destin, Florida, yellow sand. There's all kinds of sand. In fact, I went out to New Mexico, and there's a place called White Sands National Monument, and that's a pretty sand. In fact, it's not even silica. It's not even regular rock. It's called gypsum. And so sand is so cool. So I hope you enjoy mud or rocks or sand or whatever you got wherever you grow up. But this is about Caroline and she wanted a sandbox. She was an only child. She always got what she wanted. But her daddy, even though they lived not too far from the beach, he didn't want to scoop up some old dirty beach sand, so he liked to make plans. And he got online and he got his paper and pencil, and he's going to design the very best sandbox for his daughter. And he didn't want to have any wood with splinters in it, and it had to be the right kind of wood. And meanwhile, it was June, in July and August, and he's still making his plans, and Caroline wasn't going to get her sandbox, so she was distressed. She was frustrated. But since they lived near the beach, one day they went over to the beach, Mommy and Daddy in the front of the car, and Caroline with some of the beach stuff in the back seat. Didn't need to put anything in the trunk. They got to the beach, set everything up, and what happens with grown-ups, as soon as they get warm and comfortable, and there's the sound of the waves, the grown-ups started falling asleep. They were napping. And Caroline was kind of bored, and she had her little red shovel and her plastic bucket. She decided to get some sand and put it in the car trunk. And that's what she did. While they were napping, while they were sleeping, she made trip after trip after trip, just poured it in the trunk. So she's going to get some sand. She's going to get some sandbox. And so when her parents woke up, they took everything back to the car. Didn't need to look in the trunk. Mom and Dad got in front. Caroline got in the middle, in the back there with, all the beach stuff. And then Daddy started driving, but sand's pretty heavy, so that back end of the car was a little bit lower down. He's driving and thinking, you know what, something's wrong with this car. Monday morning, I think I'm gonna have to take it into the mechanic. Caroline didn't say anything because she wanted her sand so bad. Finally, they got home, and then she helped them carry stuff inside. She didn't want to tell them what she had in the trunk, but she snuck out there. She got out of the garage, her little red wagon. She got her plastic scoop, and she was ready to put that all in her wagon and take it around to the backyard and play in her sand. But when she opened up the trunk, it was empty. So something happened, and she looked down in it. There must have been a hole in it. She looked down the driveway, and there was a line of sand going down the driveway and back down the road. And she shouldn't have done this. She didn't think about it very much. But she took her red wagon, she took her little scoop, and she started scooping up that sand. She went down the driveway, she went down the road, she went all the way back to the parking lot at the beach, and then she realized she was in trouble. Her parents, meanwhile, couldn't find her. They called the police. It was an Amber Alert. It was on the television. There were helicopters. Everybody was looking for this poor girl. They heard about she wanted her sand and her sandbox so bad. Oh, her parents were so worried. But they had taught Caroline to remember her phone number. And so there at the parking lot, there was a nice lady that helped her call her family, and they got reunited. So Caroline was happy to be home. Her parents were happy to see her. But do you think her daddy was going to give her a sandbox after she did that stunt? So sometimes, even though we want something so bad, sometimes we don't get it. And so that could be how it happens sometimes. But there's something else happened with Caroline and the sandbox. I have to tell you that it was a few weeks went by, and these boxes, these strange boxes started coming from all around the country, all around the world. They were very heavy, these boxes. They were so heavy, and so her parents called the police. You get these boxes shipped from people you don't know, from California and Florida and New Zealand and all kinds of places. So they called the police. Police came. They had the sniffer dogs and the detection for bombs and everything. They checked it all out. When they finally safely opened up the boxes, they just started laughing and laughing. And you can probably guess what was in all those boxes. Caroline and her family got sent sand from all around the world. There was pretty white sand from Destin, Florida. There was green sand from New Zealand, black sand from Hawaii. There was amazing sand. So Caroline, she got her sandbox after all. So when you're having your summer adventures, I hope you find safe places to play. You may play in the sand, you might play in the dirt or mud, but I want you to have a good time and just enjoy yourself. That's the story of Caroline and the sandbox.
Oh, thank you so much, Thomas Freese. Wasn't he great, friends? I mean, he could play the guitar, tell stories. What a great guest today. Oh, friends, don't forget to check him out. thomasl.freese.com. You can find out all kinds of information about him. Did you know he's also an author? He's written several books, and they're all here at the library. Oh, man, what a great day we had. Thanks again, Thomas. Oh, Stick, come on. We have some more marshmallows to cook. Stick. Oh, there you are. Oh, what do you got there? Thanks, Stick. It's another letter. Oh, this is so exciting. I just love getting mail. Let's see what this one says. Okay, you ready? Oh, this letter's from Ava. Ava writes, Dear Gorp, my family goes camping every summer at the lake. And at night, we make a fire, tell ghost stories, oh no, and count stars until we fall asleep in our tent. Do you go camping? Love, Ava. Do we go camping? Don't we go camping, Stick? Oh, Ava, that sounds like you and your family have a wonderful vacation every year. How many stars have you counted? Ava, do you know what? I camp every night. I actually live in the woods inside of a big pine tree with lots of pine cones. My favorite. And Stick and I tell stories to each other every night before we go to bed. Right? No, Stick, don't say that. He says that I snore. Ava, I hope to hear more about your adventures. Friends, write to me and tell me your stories or what books you're reading. I'll read them to Stick at night. Won't you like that, Stick? Yeah, I know you love my stories. Has anyone finished their book challenge yet? Let us know here at the library. If you haven't started, it's not too late. Just go to lfpl.org to sign up and get reading. Don't forget, there's prizes. Until our next adventure! Hey, oh, sorry, Stick. My bad. Well, look at all these marshmallows to eat now. Oh, delicious. I love them. Stick, what a great summer we had. Oh, we sang songs, we danced, we told stories, we did magic and science. It was unbelievable. And don't forget about all the books we read. Oh, this was so fun. I really had a great summer with you, Stick. Until our next adventure! Oh, I'm sorry, Stick. See you next time, friends. Hi-oh!